Cool. Um, yeah. So again, good evening, so Aniket. Hope you're doing good. First of all, thank you for joining us in community talks. And first of all, definitely, how has life been like in the post-COVID period? If you could just share some, insights over that. What are you doing right now in your career, and how is it overall been like so far?
Sure, sure. Hi, Dhruv. So, very good evening, all of you. And uh, the journey behind COVID, like it was really interesting. I was in my currently I'm in my fifth year of IIT Kharagpur undergraduate course. So I was in my third year when this Corona began, and the whole complete fourth year and half fifth year and half third year was I was just spending all these years in my home. So it was pretty interesting because see, if you are in college and the most significant part of the college when you build up your career
Mm.
is the time when you're in your pre-final and final years. So for me, it was a huge opportunity since like I got a free time. I was not like it was not mandatory for you to go to class and listen to lectures. Uh, so you got a lot of free time, own time, me time, where you can develop yourself, grow yourself. And in that time only, I cracked GSoC. Like it was Corona which led me to crack GSoC. So yeah, it helped me. So it's going
Definitely,
great.
the lockdown period I think was very much beneficial, and
Yeah.
the time that we had, we could have actually utilized it and capitalized onto it pretty nice, and you pretty much did that. And yes,
Yes.
coming to the topic of GSoC,
Hmm.
first of all, I don't think everybody is aware about the program. Right
Hmm.
now, people are getting aware about the program because open source has been in trend in more in the last few years. If I
Yeah.
have to be specific, like around 1 or 2 years, and people are coming to know about open source more. How did you come to know about open source? Did you had alumni who mentored you, like who have already cracked GSoC? You knew about the program initially as well, or what made you, interested into the program?
Yeah, sure, sure. So, since IIT Kharagpur has lots of students who are GSoC alumni, and when I was in first year, there was a hype going on. Like there was one guy from first year itself who cracked GSoC. So at that time, I got to know, okay, Google Summer of Code is a like huge thing, like everybody was talking about, and people were not able to crack GSoC until their fourth year and fifth year. And that guy in my batch, whose name was something. So he cracked GSoC in the first year itself. So it was a huge hype. So that was the first time when I got to know about this Google Summer of Code program. But like there were many things I was unaware about. Like I was still exploring what I need to do. So
Mhm.
yes, and for the open source thing, I think many of my friends were involved in this. So eventually, I came to know across I was exploring. See, my career journey had uh, I have majors in geophysics, right? And micro and entrepreneurship and innovation. So IIT gives you a very flexible curriculum so that you can choose whatever you like to study about, right? So in my second year, I did an internship in finance. Then I did an internship in OYO uh, as an analyst. Then I joined a startup named as LimeChat. Like I worked as a DevOps engineer. So I tried various fields. And to figure out what really interests me and what is made for me. So at that point of time, I got to know that yeah, DevOps is a field which I'm really interested in since I really enjoyed automating things, building CI/CD pipelines for them, uh, organizing their microservices architecture, building connections, and seeing overall the operations part of it. So at that time only, I was literally inclined towards cloud computing and what is Kubernetes. Kubernetes was a thing like which was really trending at that time, and it is still in trend. So I got to know about Kubernetes, and it also fascinated me. How can you orchestrate the whole containerization application? Like no human efforts is needed, right? And the whole thing is functioning automatically on its own. So it was a huge thing. So Kubernetes was my entry point to open source.
All
Yeah.
right. So initially, obviously that was amazing, and you basically had a passion towards DevOps, which eventually drive you into contributing to a DevOps organization in GSoC as well. Um,
Yeah.
so when did you start contributing to open source? To be very specific, did you start from your freshman year itself, or you started later?
No, 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 not really, not really. I really started to contribute to open source in my third year itself. end of
Okay.
the third year, I like thought of like exploring some open source organization. First I was exploring our organization, and then I was aware about Google Summer of Code. So I thought, let's take a particular organization, let's select a project and make contributions to it. If like contribution will help me to explore the project as well, and if possible I can also try for Google Summer of Code. And eventually it worked out. So I was trying for various organizations. First I chose Thanos, then I choose R, then I got to know about NRNB. It is an umbrella organization, and I was into it.
Correct. Perfect. So again, this is really amazing. Having that say you started in third year and you cracked in third year itself. So it is not
Yeah,
depending upon basically how much time you have spent in open source, but rather
no,
how well are you contributing and how much consistent you are.
exactly,
Right.
exactly, true.
Talking about the program of GSoC, how did you choose the organization, or what are the steps that you followed in order to find out that particular organization which had the best project suitable for you? Because there are
Mm,
multiple organizations, there are different domains,
mm,
and for a fresher or for a first timer who has no idea about GSoC, he or she
mm,
would definitely get lost in that organization selection process itself. They'll be in a dilemma for the entire process, and that will definitely take a lot of time. And I guess
exactly.
we don't really have that much of time while contributing to open source organization, and specifically for preparing for GSoC, because you have to select the organization, you have to select the project, and then start contributing as well as early as possible. So how did you
Yeah,
do that, and
exactly.
what are the parameters or metrics that you chose to select your organization?
Yeah, yeah. In my view, selecting organization and the project itself is the most complicated part in GSoC. That it is the main part. Like if you are devoting your time to it, and if you are doing it right, you are like definitely going to crack GSoC. So what I followed was I went to previous archives, and I sorted out all the organizations. Uh, in which I was familiar about. Like at that time, I was knowing a little bit of web development. I was knowing about Python. I was knowing some JavaScript. I was not at all expert. I was not at all expert in anything. So mm, f- I would suggest first of all, at that time I was watching a YouTube channel. It was Code with Harry. So he's a guy, he's a great guy. He talks a lot about PHP development and backend development. So yeah, so I had a little knowledge of PHP development. So see, there are various parameters on which you have to select an organization and a project which is better fit for you. Like first thing, you should not be very blank about it. You should know at least little things about everything. Pie-shaped learning. Like you should know something about everything, and everything about few things, right? That was my approach. Like I was knowing web development, DevOps, data analytics, analyst, cloud computing, some Golang, and every other things. But see, since I I thought web development would be the first great place to start with. So I came across NRB organization, where there were NRNB is an umbrella organization. It has lots of organization under it. And the first criteria which I saw was number of selections. Like see, if there is an organization, there are certain number of people who are selected for GSoC under it, right? So NRNB, generally 16 to 17 people are selected every day, so your chances of selection gets higher, right? So, likewise, there are also other organizations like our project generally select 9 to 10 people. So there are various like CNCF organization, more number of people are selected under different projects. So if you are trying for that, your chances of selection will be definitely higher. And also you need to make contributions. You need to get in touch with project mentors, and you need to get in touch with what are the requirements, how can I make my proposal better. And yes, I was in constant touch with my mentor, and he helped me to make my proposal. Like he said that these are requirements, and what you can do, you can add it to me. So I was very much frequent. Like I did all the research. I mailed him, and he followed me. Like he was really impressed. So my continuous efforts was the only thing which led to my selection.
Cool. So you mentioned a very important point about the mentor. You being connected to the mentor and he being helping you out to make a proposal. So how do you do that? You mailed him, and then what was the process? How did he connect you back? And how much,
See,
how much welcoming the response was?
yeah, sure, sure. So, see, since I'm telling in very brief, I am definitely sure there are lots of points which I'll be missing. If you are finding any point, just let me know. I'll cover it. See, open source thing is a vast thing, right? So my project was a very old project and which was worked on in 2016 and 15. So after that period, it was not under development and Symfony 2.0 was used, which is in 2021 depreciated. So it was very difficult to like see the GitHub the code base was not very up to date. It was having no readme. So
Mm,
the initial step is always hard to climb. So you have to figure out everything on your own. How will it start? Like if you are using PHP 7.2 and higher, it will not work, like syntax error, lots of error, and you are not going to find out in any case. People what generally do, they get frustrated and they quit upon that at that time only. So you just need to maintain patience, have focus, like what are you going to do and how you are going to do. Just stick with one problem statement, that I have to do this thing. I don't want to deviate from, like, see, if you are going to at the first point only, you are going to have an approach like I have to understand everything. So this is not going to happen. Just have one problem statement, that this is the problem which I'm going to tackle. And if this is the problem, which is the file in which like I have to go and the problem is mentioned. So
mm,
I will dive deep having my, like, problem statement. Have your problem statement every time with you, and then dive into the code. Also, like my mentor was not a very technical person. He was a manager itself, right? So the guy who was working earlier on it was somewhere around in California or something. He was not responding. So I mailed him twice, thrice weekly, and I was trying to continuously figure out all the things. Which mentor was also like really wanted someone who can help him actively. So I spent around 2 to 3 weeks figuring out how to like set up a local environment. The project was already running on a server, but the code base was not updated. The vendor files were missing, a lot of files were missing. So I tried PHP 8, 7, all the versions of it. I really like spent a lot of time and
mm.
finally figured out, okay, at 7.0 it is working. So that was the main thing. I like made Mentor, yeah, I got it started on a local environment and everything is working fine. So like he was really happy. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. So it was hosted on a live server. So like in that process only I dockerized the whole application, since I was having the knowledge of Docker and how to dockerize into microservices. So to avoid all the platform dependencies, I packaged the whole system into a Docker container and Docker Compose. So he was really impressed. Okay, thanks a lot. Now that would not be a problem for anyone that you have faced. So solving the problem which everyone is facing, and if you are really involved into it and you are really interested in the process and you are communicating with the mentor, he will get the vibe that this guy is really interested.
Mhm.
Just don't do GSoC for tags or open source things or anything. If you're really passionate about it, if you really want to solve a problem to start with something, then connect with your mentor, have an active conversation, uh, uh, have a like active communication with all the mentors community, comment on it, start with good first issues, and eventually your chances of selection will would be higher.
Yes, and I particularly like the project that you chose. A project which was not having any README file. It definitely is difficult for anyone to approach at the first go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the crowd working in that project will also be less, and that definitely helps your selection, chances getting higher. So
Yeah, because
does
yeah.
is this a again same, just an addition question to that,
Mhm.
DevOps being a field where not many people are contributing right now.
Mm.
So again, how much important is the domain that you select while selecting for any GSoC organization, and does it matter in any way?
Exactly. Like, see, there are lots of domain, and particularly, I don't want. don't wanted myself to restrict myself to a particular domain, because this is the point of time in life where you are going to learn a lot of things. So I didn't wanted to restrict myself to any particular thing. But yes, I was exploring things. I was like uh, see, there are certain things in which you find interest, right? So i- like if you are a person who has got expertise in something, and if you are doing GSoC, select that field only. If you are a newcomer and you know something about everything, choose what interests you. If you are someone who is not at all aware about something, get an idea about few things and select something which is not very easy, because for easy things every people will go, right? Your chances of selection would be negligible. So go for something which is typical, which all of the guys are like not up to it. And if you find like every problem can be solved, right? You just need to have that patience, you just need to have that perseverance.
Mm.
So select something which interests you. Like I don't feel any particular domain or technology is important than other. Everything has its own, vibes, its importance, and it in industry. So whatever kicks for you. If you are a web dev guy, if you are a data science guy, if you are an ML guy, choose like if you are a cloud computing guy, so you can choose accordingly. It depends, it varies for person to person, like what he's interested in. Yeah,
Correct.
of course, like choosing domain matters according to, like, see, cloud computing is in demand for at this point of time. So every other person is going for cloud computing or either web development.
Mm.
So yeah, chances of selection, yeah, it varies. Like you have to consider all the points.
Correct. Coming back to the next question, how much difficult was it for you to understand the code base? Because for, let's say, for a beginner, like if I'm a beginner right now, and I'm just moving through an
Mm,
organizational project, just like we have in GSoC, I'll have no idea
mm,
about what they have, right? Like I'll be
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
is this? I've never seen anything like that. How much difficult was it? How long did it take you to
mm,
understand the code? Because that is something that it will be helping a lot of people.
exactly. See, when I started contributing for GSoC, literally speaking, I was having no knowledge, not no knowledge, but I was having basic understanding of DSA and programming.
Mm.
Nothing about, nothing more. I was not like, I watched some YouTube videos for 2 and 3 hours of web development. I did little projects of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, building some scripts in Python, but that knowledge is not an expert level knowledge. I would say intermediate knowledge. I was not at all expert in any field, so I just started with it. Initially it would seem like a huge code base to dive deep. Like initial fear would be like, what is this? I cannot do this. Like this is not meant for me. But just the approach which I followed is to take a goal, like go to issues, take a good first issue. This is issue I have to solve. Like okay, so this function is not working. I have to check for this function, right? Take a motive. Don't dive in blindly. Okay, so first of all, check the code base. Where is the entry point of the code? Okay, here is the entry point of the code. Okay, these are modules, and in this module, search in a VS Code. There is a like very best feature of searching things. So search for that uh, particular function or method which implements that function which you want to modify, or which you want to add, or something which you want to manipulate in that file. Now you have to follow the bottom up approach. Okay, this is the function. This function is connected to what function. So whatever dependencies are of that function, you have to read about that. Don't just blindly read everything. There is a huge code base. You are not going to like uh, know everything like in a year also. So
Mm.
like it is huge, so you have to be specific. What are you going to solve and where it is located? Okay, so I have to understand this. Okay, to understand this particular thing, I also need to understand five other things. I will study five other things. So for studying five other things, I need to study 10 other things. Okay, I will be going to 10 other things as well. So don't follow top down approach, but rather bottom up approach for solving any question, like for to solve any problem statement which you are targeting. So take patience, everything is on Google. Stack Overflow rocks. You have got tutorial for YouTube on every field. So people need to understand this key. This is a digital era. You don't need to go to college to learn anything. Everything is on internet. Every single thing. I can bet you, if if someone from class 10th study for 1 year programming and contribute to open source, he can earn 1 lakh to 2 lakh. He don't even need to go to college. College is for other things. Like, the era has changed. Digitalization has, like, it is massive effect. Everything is on YouTube. You have to study something, it is on Udemy. Like, you can Google literally everything. Just utilize it. You need to know that you don't need to go to college or take any such physical courses for that. So you just need
Correct.
a G. So you can get any answer online.
Again, just while you're talking about college,
Mm,
how much difficult was it for you to manage academics and your personal development, or let's say if you're preparing for GSoC, to maintain the time
mm,
between both? How did you
mm.
manage it?
Okay, so particularly talking about my academics, it is very lenient in IIT. Since, as I told, my majors was in geophysics, and I
Mhm.
was doing minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. So in my first year itself, I was trying various other things. Like, I said, I did an internship in finance in CCL. Okay, so it didn't work for me. Okay, finance is not the thing which I'm going up to. So then I tried consultancy. Then I tried, okay, doing case studies for consultancies. Then I tried doing analyst roles, and uh, uh, and in parallel, I was also like doing academics. It is inevitable, right? And Corona period has helped me much. Like, if you're having attendance policies that you have to go to class,
Mhm.
you have to like follow that. But in Corona, just open MS Teams inside window and do your work. So for personal growth, I personally believe what you are up to, you can take it. And for me, it was not very hard because the load of class was not like, it was not very hectic. And
Mhm.
uh, teachers were very lenient. And once you are into GSoC, nobody like stops you. Just let them know that you are doing GSoC, you're working on this project. The only thing matters is you are on in the right direction, and you are literally doing something which is of some importance. Like, professors are literally very chill, and they like do not bother if you're doing something really meaningful. So everyone around us was doing something, and everyone was involved in some project, some internship, some foreign exchanges. And so it was not very difficult for me. I was having a plenty of time doing GSoC.
That's still amazing, and the support that you receive from the institute is also helps in some way or the
Exactly.
other, right?
Exactly.
Uh, Okay, coming to the next question, what sort of communities or developer groups did you join, or like where you're part of, where you could get some good information, or maybe mentorship for preparation of GSoC? Anything like that that you have joined, like maybe some student clubs or community, anything like that?
Yeah, like, since telling you, in my third year itself, I was not aware about Git. Starting of the third year, I started my preparation in second half of the third year, which is uh, sixth semester, I guess. Yeah. So, in my college, there is a community called Kharagpur Winter,
No.
KWC, Kharagpur Winter of Code. So they were having a seminar about Git, and they were teaching Git. So I randomly, there was one of my colleague. He was into Julia Summer of Code, JSoC.
Hmm.
So he told me to, okay, attend that seminar, and I went there and I learned about Git. Okay, so this is a version control system. Initially, it didn't made sense, but okay. So slowly I got a concept about it. Okay, why it is used. Okay, why it is important. So okay, why it is inevitable now. So in the third year, first fifth semester, I got to introduced about Git, and after having that seminar, they conducted a program which is similar to Google Summer of Code, which they call Kharagpur Winter of Code. So
Mhm.
in winter season, in the month of December, they organized this program, and I was a part of it. So I eventually, like. Uh, uh, I got mentorship from them. They told me about Google Summer of Code, and not much was needed. One or two interactions, then I figured everything around my own. Like, there are lots of videos on YouTube and lots of mentorship, and yeah, you just need uh, s- someone to just tell you that this is the path, and everything you can figure out on your own.
Correct. I think that is really again amazing. First of all, I'm really impressed by the fact that you started very late, and then even then it didn't really matter a lot. You could
Yeah,
crack
absolutely.
just very less duration of time. So people who are mostly in a dilemma over that I'm doing this for my first year, I'm still not able to do it. Maybe they need to work over the consistency and
Exactly.
become a lot focus on a particular project or maybe a particular thing, not focus on
Yeah.
multiple things. Right.
Exactly. It is a high just you just need to enjoy life. Like in my first, second year, I was not at all studying, and in third year, I got okay. I have to do something at least for my placements. I need to explore fields for my survival, and I just started. Don't make a people generally get like okay, I cannot do it. Just don't go into that dilemma. Have a mindset. If I don't know anything, I'll learn. How much time will it take? We will see. Just don't fix your status or fix your okay uh, what you I cannot do it or something. Just
Mhm.
go on learning things, and eventually it will take very less time, very less time.
Correct. Correct. Talking about your domain of DevOps, could you just tell everyone what DevOps is? Because I don't think many people would be aware about it. So, how did you come to know about DevOps? First of all, obviously you were learning cloud
Mm,
computing, so eventually you would be able to know
mm.
about DevOps and what DevOps is all about. But uh, what is it all about, and how much opportunities or future scope that you see for the domain as of now?
Sure, sure. So, see, initially, a few years back, there were two teams in any company, which was development. Development was a specific field, and operations was a another field. And the developers coded for some feature, and operations team was responsible to make that code into production. Like whatever feature was coded via developer team was pushed to production via operations team. So a huge human resource was needed for this continuous deployment. Like software developer handed the code to operations team, they tested it and they deployed it. So it required lots of manual intervention. Lots of
Mhm.
human resource was invested by any company on it, and the process was also not very flexible. It came across it came with lots of difficulties, communication difficulties, uh, uh, coordination difficulties. So to overcome this difficulty, the field of DevOps was emerged. DevOps is a branch which I can say which is a combination of development and operations. Like a guy who's in DevOps has a knowledge of both doing development and deploying it to production as well. So
Mhm.
it bridges the gap between two, and it stimulates the process very easily. Like why I like DevOps. See, whenever you code something and the process of coding and deploying it to production, the whole thing is automated. It is called CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous deployment. So see how fascinating is this. Like see, if you are on Google and if you like Google web page, and if you are coding for something like have a Google Doodle, so software developer coded for it. Okay. So, and just he pushed something to master branch, and following through the testing, deployment, building and updating the image and deploying it to production was automated. So like it reduces a lots of efforts.
Correct.
So this very basic fact that lots of human resources are now saved, and the process is so fast, so flexible and so agile, it was something like which interested me to this DevOps field. And definitely in coming future there would be no company where DevOps position will not be open, because every like be it every product based company needs to have a developer position open. So this is a very bridging role, which is very crucial for anyone managing infrastructure, managing CI/CD pipelines and everything.
Definitely. Um, what was the roadmap that you followed to learn DevOps? Like, what did you learn particularly in order to, get a mastery in the field?
Sure. So I personally believe that to learn anything, you just start with hands-on, doing hands-on on it. So I started with just joining a startup. Startups are like the best way to learn anything. Like you get a lot of ownership, you get to learn. You everything is on your own. You can take ownership of a particular department. You can suggest, okay, this thing, this technology we can adopt and something. So initially I started with Squad, and in Squad as a DevOps, like initially to crack the interview, you just need to tell them that you know something about it, right?
Mm.
So uh, like like always, I started on YouTube, started with Kubernetes, started with CI/CD pipeline, GitLab, how to write YAML files, how to write what is Jenkins, what is Terraform, what is Ansible, what is Puppet, what is Chef, and how to provision infrastructures, how to operate Kubernetes. I learned all these basic things, and I interviewed on Squad. So they like they felt that this guy isn't really interested in DevOps. Let's take him. So first interaction of DevOps was my interaction was in Squad, and uh, there doing hands-on. I learned about Google Cloud Build. I learned about like CI/CD pipeline. So after Squad, I joined a YC, like having a decent experience in a Squad. I joined a company named LimeChat. LimeChat
Mhm.
has been started by IT Delhi alumni in 2020, and it is doing great. Like it is a YC backed startup, YC 20 winter batch YC.
Oh,
So that was a very uh, the profoundest experience which I ever had in a startup. So I worked in LimeChat for around 6 months, and I, along with one of my colleagues, were in charge of the DevOps field. So I maintained all these, like my Dockerizing all their applications,
mhm,
and making CI/CD pipelines from scratch, building like writing bash scripts
mhm,
and deploying them, maintaining databases, deploying Helm charts, and managing logs, managing Fluentd, managing Elasticsearch, Kafka, Grafana, Prometheus. And in that startup, I had hands-on on everything. So that was a changing point. Like if you're study about something, and if you're doing hands-on on something, there is a huge difference. So
correct,
I would personally suggest join a startup. They need people. Like initially, like you should be sure like what you're going to do. If you are paying, if they are paying less, don't worry. You just get hands on, and after like you get your hands on, and if you feel that okay, now I'm ready for it, uh, go for a good startup. Go for a
right,
good startup and implement your things on it. Startups are the best way to learn things.
correct. Because again, it gives you the ownership of the job you do, and I guess
Exactly.
matters a lot, right? Whenever it's
Yeah.
responsibility all over you, you have to take up the role and just go and solve that problem up, right? Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. Uh, what would be your suggestion to someone who is preparing for GSoC 2022 right now? Having that said, we are in February. We are almost on the verge of knowing what the organizations are and knowing what
Mm,
the projects are. The applications are going to be released very soon.
mhm.
What would be your suggestion? And particularly, when did you start making a proposal during your time? Like, what was the month when you started making a proposal or when you started contributing to the project?
I started contribution in January itself. So see, uh, if you are late, like February is literally not late. It is early, right?
Really?
People, most of the people start in March.
Mm,
No, I would say in February itself. If you're starting in March, it is somewhat late. Okay, so don't worry. Like, you just need not to worry. Any time is not like late. I have one of my friend who started in March, and he was able to crack it. So it really depends on how smart you work. If you are coding, like there are also people who are contributing since 2 years, like not contributing, who are preparing from December, and they were not selected for it. So it completely depends on you, and how you are going to segregate organizations, how is your approach. There are 2 3 things which you should keep in mind. Like if you have less time and you want to crack it, you have to be really smart on deciding organizations. Like if there is someone who is really expert in that domain, and he is in that mailing list, he is in that, he has commented out on that project, and he's actively uh, participating in that project. If you are going to apply for it, surely for sure you are going to be rejected, right? So
mm,
if you are targeting solely GSoC, And if you want to work smart, try to find a space which people find hard, in which your scope is right, your scope is high. Okay.
Mm,
You also need to like check whether mentors are replying or not. How friendly is the mentor? How is the culture? Is mailing list really active, or
mm,
like no one is replying in that mailing list? Work smart, find an organization which is active, having you will get the vibe that okay, this organization, we have the chance. Join mailing list of that organization. Everyone who is going to participate in a Google Summer of Code 22 is obviously going to message in that. He will be in contact with the mentors personally. Get in touch with the mentors and ask him that what is required. Can I contribute? How is their response? Their response really matters. That
correct.
there are certain organization in which mentors are already have already decided a guy, right?
Mm,
Okay, so this is the guy because he's the best. So
mm,
there is no point of wasting time if you are solely targeting GSoC. So get, get an organization where there is a way, there is a like a seat for you, like there are chances. Apply to 2 and 3 organizations, and not necessarily you should apply for 3. If you're applying for one, and if you're if you think that chances are high enough, apply in it and at least contribute. At least 2 PRs are 2 pull requests are like mandatory not, but it should be sufficient enough to get your chances high for selection. So make contributions to it, genuine contributions. If you are really interested in the project, all the things will be really easy. There is like no time to start for it. You can start now. And for Google Summer 22, this is the best time to start. Literally, this is the best time to start. January would be early, December would be more early, but this is the perfect time for you to start on it.
correct. What would be your suggestion or hacks that you would just suggest in order to create the proposal, or let's say selecting the problem statement? Like, what are you going to solve for that particular project? How much does it matter, and what
Exactly.
are the points that you should just include in that proposal?
Exactly. So, first of all, when you are selecting an organization and an issue, go through it. Go through it, its description, every point of it. Do a thorough research on it. What is really needed and what you can implement. How much time will it take, and what new things you can add in the proposal. See, don't make unnecessary proposals. Some people, what they do is, for making large proposals, they write anything. So don't do that. It The mentors really go through your project. They really think like they really review your project. My project was really reviewed very um, precisely. Like informal words like how much time would I be able to contribute was also read. So please make a good proposal. Like it should be informative, it should be easy to read. Main points should be highlighted. Also, you can include diagrams for easy understanding. Your
Mm,
proposal should not be very like a documentation or something like which is not readable. It should be very uh, presentable. It should be containing all the relevant information. It should contain timeline very specifically. What are you going to do in what time frame? What did you understand from the project? What needs to be done? First of all, start with your introduction. Like, who are you? What have you done till now? What is your expectations? Not expectations. What would be your approach towards the project? And after defining everything about you, how much time would you be able to contribute? The next section would be about the project. First section would be about you. Next section would be about the project. What is the project all about? What are the necessities? What more you can add up to that project, and how you are going to tackle that project in what time frame. And like timeline should be very like very clear. And if you have contributed, that should be mentioned in that proposal as well. Visual diagrams would be like very much suggested. You can add visuals, you can add code snippets, you can add your contributions, you can add whatever you have done so far in other organizations as well. You can add that too. But
mm.
uh, the time frame should be very precise and descriptive. That should be enough. Don't write
Cool.
anything which is not relevant.
Cool. Any other resources that you would like to suggest for open source geeks or people who are preparing for GSoC? Any
Hmm.
resources that you particularly referred to while you were preparing, which helped you a lot?
See, first of all, I would like to tell more about open source. That open source is a huge thing. Like you all might be knowing about it. So Google Summer of Code is one of the programs which are in open source. If some of you are not able to crack Google Summer of Code, there is no need to worry. Like for the round of whole year, lots of programs are held. For example, FOSS Asia, Linux Mentorship Foundation, KDE, MLH Fellowship. There are lots of programs which are held all round years. You can apply for all of them. They are also paid. They are highly paid. So Google Summer of Code is one of them. You need to know about this. So also I have a GitHub repo in which all the programs are listed. You can go through it. I can provide the link of that. That if you're not if you're not able to crack GSoC, you can try for those programs as well, like Linux kernel development. There are lots and lots of programs which has great projects. Okay, so CNCF organization which participates in GSoC also participates in uh, Linux Mentorship Foundation. You can prefer Cubedge, you can prefer Crossplane, you can prefer. Uh, there are lots and lots of projects. It depends on you what you are interested in, and they are also highly paid. Like Google Summer of Code has reduced the stipend, but they have not. So also, I think for the guys who live in India, who for the college kid, for the college people, these compensation amount is huge, and uh, after completing that Google Summer of Code, this is a lottery for you. The organization literally offers you job opportunities to work remotely and get in touch with them for the further contributions. So select an organization which is huge, which has fundings, and you will after the project completes, you will get an offer to work for them remotely for a longer period of time. So I personally feel open. There is nothing like an open source. You can. It is beneficial for you. It is beneficial for community, and you it's like it has lots and lots of pros.
Correct. Talking about your current, role that you're working as a DevOps engineer at Kaizen, how did you crack it? Was it a remote role itself, or what was the process?
So see, after mm, completing Google Summer of Code or any open source, having open source contributions, having a good profile on LinkedIn, you get a lot of offers from a lot of companies. Let me tell you, if you're not able to go for Google Summer of Code, at least spend some time contributing to open source organization. In that way, you can literally showcase all your talent, your coding skills, and in the meantime, it is publicly available. You can showcase to any one of it. You just get the link of it, and you can post it in your you can show it to the recruiters. So I was having decent resume, and I applied randomly on LinkedIn. I got interviewed, and since my coding skills were already tested, I wrote about 12,000 lines of code in Google Summer of Code last year. So they were really impressed. They took a DSA test. It was very simple, and some Python bashing script test. And since I was really seeking my expertise in DevOps, and I worked in line chat as well for 6 months, I was having decent experience with all that cutting edge technology stuffs, Kubernetes and all. So they hired me.
That is amazing, actually. And like, so basically, if you are in open source, then the opportunities are not just only to the programs,
Mm.
maybe much more than after the program is over, right? And the
Exactly.
next
So yeah, true.
stage, yes,
Like you won't be having you don't have to search for jobs. Like if you are in open source, jobs will come to you. Like
exactly. Correct. So all you have to do is focus on the process and invest in the process,
mm,
and the rest will just follow. Um,
yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Apart from this, Aniket, anything else that you have in your mind that should be important for someone who's preparing for open source contributions or any other programs, let's say, right? I have already found the link of that list of yours where you have mentioned all the programs. I'll just put it in the comments. Yes, I believe this is what you're talking
How did you find that?
about. Your GitHub account, Aniket
Wow.
320.
Cool, 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 cool. Wow.
So I guess that will help other people a lot. Again, just like Aniket mentioned, it's not only about GSoC. There are a lot many programs where people can contribute, and definitely all of them are of the same scale. And it's just that they are not much famous, or just like Google Summer of Code. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. Anything else, Aniket, that you would like to add up to this?
I would just like to add up a few points that don't go for a Google Summer of Code because you want to get in stipend or something or tag or group or something. Like open source is really a community. Like for an example, I don't think any big company would be present in market who are not using open source. Like without
Mhm.
open source, surviving is really difficult. Open source has helped us like in enormous ways. Like you just cannot survive. Every other software which is built is based on open source, so it is a great community. First of all, you need to have a passion for it. You need to understand the core essence of it, and if you are really into it, just do it. And do smart work if you are going for Google Summer of Code. And if not, there is no point of worrying. Like literally it runs all around here, and you can try next time. And also Google Summer of Code is open for non students also, like who initially it was only for students who are in universities, but now it's open. The main goal of Google Summer of Code is to promote open source, and I think the purpose is being served very well.
Mhm.
So be passionate about it, be an active contributor, see what is the problem which is trying to solve. Like don't be very specific, see the whole thing on a very broader perspective. Have have an idea that if this is the project, why was it built, what was the main reason
Mhm.
for this project, which like which gave birth to this project, right? So having that overall idea will give you an essence and motivation to contribute, and also you will feel good. And also apart from mm, stipend community swags and every other things, you get to interact with lots of people who are really
Definitely.
interested into this. So this
Mhm.
is the thing which you cannot miss. You get to interact with lots of people. Like I was through Google Summer of Code, my research paper is currently in review, and it will be published in around a month or so. So you get to know or really community of great people who are enthusiastic about this, who are really into this. So make connections. You will get lot. You have to contribute a lot, and it is an amazing journey, like for
Definitely.
sure.
Definitely. And I personally agree to that point of community that become a part of. I guess
Yeah,
definitely you have your own college circle, you have your own Indian circle as well. But when you
yeah,
compete in global scale and you meet people from different countries or different diversities and know things from them, it's like amazing.
yeah,
Completely a different feeling, right?
sure,
Definitely that is true. Correct. All right. That will be pretty much it from my end as well, Aniket. It was nice interacting with you. First of all, thank you again so much for joining us. I guess the insights that you have shared will help a lot of people. And particularly, we also have a channel for GSoC in the Syrian community as well, where we provide resources. And I guess the resources that you have provided today will definitely help them a lot once again. And
sure,
yeah, looking forward to again having you in our future sessions as well. Again, thank you so much
sure,
for joining.
sure.
And the
Thank
rest
you,
of the
thank
people, I've already just dropped the link of our future events. You can go and register, and let's catch up in the next event, right? Thank you so much, Aniket. Thank you.
you. Yeah, good talking to you.